truth. For me, it's about owning your vulnerability. Through my whole journey, I have been an open book about what I've been through, right? And I know that God is going to give for me what I need, and he's going to take away things that I don't need, just stuff that I want, right? That's not really in alignment with who I am as a person today. And if I just open my mouth and say what's on my mind and say what I'm feeling and just tell the truth, I might not like the results in the beginning, but it's for a purpose.
So tell me about your spiritual awakening.
Well, I feel like there's been several that have happened in my life, right? And in the beginning, they were super painful. So painful that I was just like, can I get through this? You know, like this stuff is keeping me up at night to where I don't know if I can do this anymore. So I think the first real spiritual awakening that I had was in treatment. And I realized that like I'm no greater or less than anybody. Like I can connect with all people. I just have to be willing to do it. And so when I found friendship and treatment and like connection, it was just the coolest thing in the world. You know, I was riding on like kind of a little bit of a high for a second. Like I found my people again. I found people that I can be around and feel comfortable and like just laugh until we pee ourselves, right? Like, and it was just a really cool experience. And I was pretty sad when I did have to go to prison because I didn't really have that experience when I was locked up. It was, you know, it's prison. It's not supposed to be like this fun stay where you're like, you know, finding best friends for life. It was more of like, I'm just going to isolate and stay to myself. But, you know, hearing my mom scream in the courtroom when I was sentenced, right? I still hear it in my head. You know, I think we were talking about it, like getting triggered last night. Just, I remember like I had a flashback of the arrest and like my kids and, you know, it like those are super profound things that continue to happen in my life that like hurt a little bit, but I think are very necessary for my recovery. Like, I don't want to sit there and be a martyr, right? But I do want to remember what it felt like because I never want to go back to that place ever again. But like, you know, getting out of prison, right? I'm like living in the halfway house and I don't know. I didn't necessarily like have a pink cloud when I got sober, right? There was just all this like impending doom that was looming over me and like the federal government breathing down my neck and all of that. So there wasn't really ever a moment of like peace and just like, oh, okay, I can breathe. And so yeah, when I got to the halfway house, I was like, I got to get a job. Like, I got to get out of here. There's all walks of life here. There's men and women alike, from max all the way to minimum. I do not want to be in this halfway house. I have to be here for 3 months, but like I can work. So I went to work immediately. I started working in treatment. Okay. Because like, I guess in my head, I'm like, well, I'm a felon, but like, that's a positive thing I can do when we go and work in the treatment field, you know? Right. Like, there's nobody who can be like, oh, you just can't relate to me. It's like, oh, wait a minute. You're not that special. Number one.
Right.
You know? And so, yeah, I started working in treatment and I fell in love. I fell in love with helping people. It was just so fascinating. And like,
to get a free copy of the 12-step guide that I created for you, click on the link in the description below.
Heartwarming. And, you know, I got to have these like spiritual moments with people where like I see myself in my journey of where I was in their journey. And it's like, holy moly, we're so much more alike than you think we are. Right. You know, and I just kept spreading this message of like, regardless of what happens, you can make something of this. You know, there's always a starting point to becoming a better human, regardless of where you're at. Like there were no excuses. Like I wasn't given any excuses when I got locked up, and I'm not giving anyone else excuses like now that I'm out, and I'm not taking them. You know, so I definitely had a different approach when it came to like dealing with patients of, Like, I'll be compassionate and I'll meet you where you're at. But at the end of the day, if you're going to come with me or you come at me with excuses, like, you're not going to like what I have to say, you know? And people started to see, like, coming to Megan means I'm going to get some, like, truth that how she sees it, right? She's not going to hold back, which was a really cool thing because that showed me my worth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Me being able to give constructive feedback. It was so simple. Being able to give constructive feedback to others and taking that feedback on to myself was like, oh, like I have something special in a sense, right? Like, I have this ability to be true to myself and true to others. And I didn't think I had that in me. And then that momentum continued to build. Like, I had to find love and worth in self, period. Like, if I can't love me, then I'm a goner, you know, like, the life isn't going to work out for me.
So what does owning your truth mean?
Owning your truth. For me, it's about owning your vulnerability. Through my whole journey, I have been an open book about what I've been through, right? And I know that God is going to give for me what I need, and he's going to take away things that I don't need, just stuff that I want, right? That's not really in alignment with who I am as a person today. And if I just open my mouth and say what's on my mind and say what I'm feeling and just tell the truth, I might not like the results in the beginning, but it's for a purpose, and I'm not meant to understand why. I may never know, or I may find out and there's like a really cool connection that I get to make. But just being 100% authentically me, and just, I don't know, like, I have an ability to be around people and know if they're good people for me to be around. And if they're not, like, I don't have to be mean to them, but they're not going to be a part of my life.
If you got value from this video, if you heard what you needed to hear, be sure to like it. Comment if you've got a question or you have something to say. Subscribe to the channel. Camelback Recovery provides treatment services for people struggling with mental health, mental illness, addiction, alcoholism, whatever it may be. So if you or a loved one is struggling and you need some guidance and you need some direction, reach out to us. Our contact information is down below, or you can go to our website, camelbackrecovery.com, whether it be detox, inpatient treatment, outpatient treatment, sober living, recovery coaching, sober companion services, whatever it may be. Like I said, we can either help you or make sure that you get sent in the right direction. We help people all over the country, all over the world for that matter. I'll see you on the next video.